Hello, right, today we're going to interview a geezer who had an association with Gary Numan before he was even famous, and that is Fenwick Price, who was the vocalist in Crimson Lake, who was a band that Gary joined in his early teens. And we'll say welcome to you, Fenwick. How are you doing, mate?
Well, I'm fine, thank you.
So, I mean, did you think when you first did the band? Well, tell us about the band Crimson Lake. What was it all about?
Well, we used to play weddings, things like that. It was frightfully good fun.
I was the vocalist, as you said. Gary, he played the guitar, an electric guitar, although he did play acoustic on a couple of songs. And we had John. I can't recall his his surname, but he was on the bass guitar, and then we had Simon on the drum kit, and it was fun. It was good fun at the time. I mean, I certainly wouldn't say I've been blessed with vocal talents, hence I did not continue in the music industry. But yes, it was good fun, and so you must have been, amazed when about 5-6 years later Gary was, number one and on the telly. Oh yes, that was rather amusing. I mean, I had moved from Stanwell at that point, and I was living in Bridport, and yes, I remember my work colleagues and things like that. They were frightfully jealous when I told them that Gary, was part of my band at the time, and yes. So I was rather pleased with what he had done, although I wasn't so keen on the genre of music. I'd rather sit and listen to Manto Mani if given the choice. Right, okay. So, I mean, did you ever try, do demos or anything? Does any of them exist?
I think there is a silent demo, so to speak, when one has one wedding we featured at. It was filmed, but on a Super 8 cine camera with no sound, so you can see us there briefly, and I'm sure Gary would be in the background, and I'm sure that footage would be a great deal of pleasure to you Numanites, Numanoids. Oh, frightfully sorry. So, did you do, what was it, just weddings you did? Well, we actually auditioned to go on New Faces in 1973 when we were frightfully young. I was 14, I think Gary was 15 at the time, but we actually failed the audition for New Faces. We were beaten by a guy playing the clarinet, Clarinet Man, I believe he was called, and so yes, we didn't even get into that. But yeah, God, can you imagine that if you did well in that, we would never heard of Gary Numan. Oh, bloody hell! Oh, actually, to be honest, I'm glad you didn't get one. Yes. So what do you do nowadays then, mate? Do you? Oh, I've lived all over the world, and I was at Yale University for my early 20s, and then I worked as a diplomat all over the world. I worked for the British Embassy in Honduras and for a number of years, and did various duties there. I studied law, so I was always called upon for that in various countries in South and Latin America, where I lived for a number of years. So take it, living out there, that neck of the woods, you wouldn't have heard about much of Gary Numan. Oh no, my mother used to always send me his albums and things like that. She kept me up to date with Gary's progress, so I think the last one I recall receiving was the one where, he had a white suit and red bow tie.
Oh yeah, Berserker. No, I don't think that was the one prior to that, if I recall. The blue hair. This one here had the white. Oh yeah, sorry mate, I'm always getting mixed up with those two. So did you ever go to see him in concert or anything? Yes, I think I went on the touring principal concert, and when he first established himself as an artiste, and then I went to. I did go one with one of my lady friends. When was that? Because I was back in the United Kingdom for a short period of time, and I sort of was. It's a long story how I attracted this lady, but try to impress her saying I once played in a band with Gary, and we went to. It was on the Emotion tour, I believe as it was called. At now where did we go? It was at the football club in Birmingham, Haston Villa Leisure Centre, or somewhere like that, if I recall, or somewhere in Birmingham, Hummingbird. I can't recall the exact detail now. A bit hazy in my old age, but it was all right. I mean, I think my eyes rather caught the backing singers, and the lady I took along to the concert was not rather too pleased with that. Oh yeah, there was some belters there, weren't there? God, those backing singers, bloody hell, those dolly beds, they were pretty hot, weren't they? If you say so. So yeah, I mean, so you're back you're back in the UK now. Oh yes, I am back in the United Kingdom. I now live in Norfolk, and so not too far from yourself. Oh yeah, just down the road. So yeah, I mean, do you still, ever dabble in music again? Oh no, that was just a passing fad when I was just a young teenager. I think I'm more fashioned out of that. I prefer literature, to be frank. I like the work of very many scholars. I've studied various a lot of more obscure French novelists and things like that, which I think many people, or particularly the people you're sending this broadcast out to, would have never heard of. So I wouldn't even want to bother you with those names. Yeah, excellent. So yeah, I mean, it's strange because I know he was in another couple of bands, Monkey Juniors, but I think that was just in mime and guitars. But Crimson Lake really was his first his first band. And who knows, Fenwick, if it wasn't for Crimson Lake, you might never have heard of Gary Numan. So you've got a lot to answer for, Fenwick. How do you feel about that? Well, it's rather putting a great prestige on one's shoulders, but I think that Gary, he's done very well for himself. I mean, I prior to this interview and when you sent me the electronic mail advising on it, I thought I'd do some research into see what he has been doing recently, and I was quite aghast to see that his hair is rather pervasive, shall we say. It's extraordinary wig that he's wearing. If I was bald, which thankfully I'm not been graced with that, but I would wear a toupee, and I would freely admit to it. But I think the one that Gary is now wearing is rather silly, shall we say, and also this image. I mean, I tried to listen to some of the videos he posted online for this Intrusion album, Intruder, yes, Intruder, and I felt the music to be rather distasteful, if I'm being frankly honest with you. it was all bleeps and dashes and very noisy. It reminded some of the introductions reminded me of my wife switching on the vacuum cleaner. But yes, I mean, I think I certainly isn't my genre of music. I mean, I think even when you hark back to the days of Telecom, there was some almost classical elements to that. With the piano synthesizer that he used, and one felt that was a better album. But this modern strange sound and him using political attitudes, talking about climate change and other things like that, is just rather odd, shall we say. I mean, I think, when you work in the places I've worked over the years and been in various embassies and attended meetings with very high up, high profile people in government, you tend to know that the climate change issue is, let's just say, exaggerated. And yeah, all right, okay, I'll take your word for it, mate. So yeah, I mean, so when did you come back to the United Kingdom? Oh, I've been back 6 years now, 6 years, and I resided in South America, as I discussed earlier, Honduras, Nicaragua. I was in Brazil for a while, Argentina, El Salvador, and Uruguay, and I loved it, and then I made a short dash across to. I had a holiday home in the Philippines. I lived there for a number of years. Once my time in South America was up, and let's just say I'm married to a nice young lady from there. So, Nia says hello, by the way. Yeah, she's just waving to me. I think she's. I think my dinner's ready, so I will go, Steve. But thank you very much for your asking me to be part of your interview today with these fans, and I appreciate the time. No worries, mate. Thanks, Fenwick.